You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Welcome to Truth and Logic, the weekly talk show that uses logic to explain the truth.
And the truth shall set you free!
Here are your hosts, David Cross and Duran Montgomery.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Zone Radio. This is Truth and Logic with Duran, David, and Michelle. I'm Duran.
This is David.
And this is Shelly Shell.
It's 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, and depending on where you're at in the world, family, you can adjust that time accordingly. We'd like to thank you for listening and welcome you back once again to our weekly open forum discussion of current events and social issues. As always, family, we are live and the phone lines are open. We can be reached at 888-GO-FOR-IT. That's 888-463-6748. And as always, before dealing with controversial issues and topics, we have to give you this disclaimer.
Please.
So, the thoughts and views expressed on Truth and Logic are those of its host and are not necessarily the thoughts and views of Talk Zone Radio, syndication networks, or any of its associates and affiliates. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, you know that we're coming at you with some heat today, as we always do. And we're keeping it a little controversial as we deal with the sensitive topic of domestic violence and abuse. It's a touchy subject. So
very touchy.
So let's get into it. Let's not even play with the thing, David. Michelle, what's happening?
Well, you know me. You know I don't like to beat a dead horse. Every time somebody think of domestic violence, abuse, everybody want to think of a man hitting a woman.
Okay.
True.
Well, women also
tread lightly today. Let me put that disclaimer. Go ahead.
I don't know how to do that.
Started early.
Hey, I got big feet. I don't know how to tread lightly. You know, I just lay it on the table. You know,
we might be going at it today.
Well,
but
hey,
hopefully we won't. Go ahead.
Hey, that might draw more fans.
It might be good for the show.
We can't agree on everything now.
This
but,
is true.
You know, but I mean, as I stated before, laws are not fair, especially when dealing with men. And I'm going to take two cases that happened right around the same time.
Okay.
You got Solange beating the hell out of Jay-Z in the elevator.
On video.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing everybody said was, well, Jay-Z's a punk. You know, he got his ass whooped by a woman. They don't.
Well, actually, I heard some people that say that, well, he did what a man should do. He ain't hit her back. I've heard both sides.
I've heard that sprinkled in there, but for the most part, a lot of people dog Jay-Z.
Right.
And then when Whoopi Goldberg said he should have hit her back, of course, the women on the View were upset.
Wow, I did not watch this. So Whoopi Goldberg always saying some random stuff, but
well, I look at it like this: people always say a man shouldn't hit a woman because he's bigger. If you hit Duran and Duran hit you back, people would jump on Duran saying he's bigger.
Right.
But if I hit Mike Tyson, knowing that Mike Tyson will beat the hell out of me, first thing they're going to say is I shouldn't have hit him.
I mean, well, the bottom line, I mean, when you look at that, you say, when you look at that, you say, well, look, you knew I was bigger than you before you hit me.
Exactly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, you can look at it, and just by theory of that argument, okay, so because that's just taken into account. As Americans, we're bigger than we used to be. You know what I'm saying? So all women ain't 5'5" to 5'7", 120, 130 pounds. You got some women running around here 5'7" to 5'9", it's 250 or better.
Looking like machines.
You know, looking like defensive tackles.
Oh my God.
I mean, so if a woman at 5'9", 250, let's just throw that out there, 5'9", 250, and you hit a man that's sitting there and say he's 5'9", too, so you all are the same height, but he 185. By virtue of your argument, he should be able to whoop her ass.
Right.
Because she's bigger than him.
Yeah.
So that argument really makes no sense. People need to stop saying that.
Well, but then you got the same, within the same month or two, Ray Rice and his wife got into it. And that's when Ray Rice started his elevator cleaning services when he cleaned his wife.
Elevator cleaning services.
But they were
wow.
They were fighting each other. And this man lost his career.
Yeah.
Right.
So
He lost his career, but that's on him. That's on him losing his career.
they were fighting each other. It wasn't that he just beat the hell out of her.
Right.
Both of them were at fault. Let me
But she spit on him. She
if
stole on
you
him about
knew-
3-4 times.
let me throw this disclaimer
if
out
you
there.
knew she was going to act crazy, you shouldn't even bring her with you if you knew you was going to beat her down, and that's your fault on your career,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
First off, let me
And
throw
your
this.
opinion counts. That's why your name's on the show.
Thank you.
No problem.
Let me throw this disclaimer out there. I do not believe in anybody hitting anybody. It ain't just
Me either.
men hitting women and women hitting men, but we know it happens.
Just
Well,
abuse in general.
the real the real thing is this: keep your hands to yourself, and you ain't got to worry about nobody putting their hands on you.
Right.
Well, I got
Well,
I got
not
two
all
more
the time,
examples.
because sometimes when people get jumped on, and it's just like the other person's temper. You know what I'm saying? Because how many times have you had somebody swing on you in your life, and you be like, "Man, where that come from?"
Right.
Now I got to do what I got to do. You know. What
Well,
I'm saying?
let me throw two more examples out. You got the hood whore mom in Baltimore
Wow.
that beat the hell out of her son on national TV,
Dig that.
and everybody deemed her mom of the year.
Right.
Oh,
I mean, damn the fact she was out there looting
She-
too. You know, she was out there riding too, or whatever the case may be. But she saw her son, and she beat the hell out of her son.
Right.
now some were saying that she did that so she would. I guess some people were saying that she did that so in order for her to get control of her son. So beating him was in no way of him getting shot or killed by the police.
Okay,
but-
now, what if that was a father beating a son or a father beating a daughter?
First of all, in order for her,
I don't know.
Because here's the story they tried to go with that at first. In order for it to make sense, they said that she saw her son on TV looting, went down there, and whooped him off the scene because
Well, first they said she was at work. Then they said she was at home.
The story changed 3 times.
Exactly.
See what I'm saying? So that in and of itself lets you know it's a bunch of BS going on. But she was out there doing wrong with him. You know what I'm saying? And she didn't know that he was there.
Right.
And she just
Oh,
happened
so
to see
she was
him.
out there
She
Yeah,
was
she
out
was.
there.
She was
protesting or
Try-
whatever she does.
There's no
trying to
way in
get-
hell she made it from home to exactly where he's at.
and
that she
he's
lived.
still there.
Hold on. So were they protesting
Well,
or
that's-
were they looting?
a lot
That's
of
a
people-
good question.
a lot of people
because
call it
They
protesting.
were
and
looting
is two
under
different
the
things.
guise of protesting. That's what they were doing. They were looting under the.
So
but-
she
but
was there looting, not knowing her son was there.
not knowing that he was looting, and yeah, they went and she went.
So
and all
lead
of a
by
sudden-
example.
Well, that's hard to do that when you ain't shit. But I mean,
But then you got
but, I mean,
Adrian Peterson who
whooped his
son, and he was suspended from the NFL for a year.
And for all those of you all who are wondering where we're going with this, domestic violence and abuse is not pigeonholed or contained simply with the abuse of a woman. You have men who get abused. You have women. And that includes abuse of children as well. That's why they call it domestic, because it's abuse that happens within the home. So, all right, go ahead.
So then we have a lot of false claims of domestic abuse. Stat that I seen yesterday, and God, I hope this number is wrong. They say the number of persons wrongfully arrested for domestic violence each year is 700,000.
700,000. Where you get this from? What was that from?
That's a small city.
What? Let me see.
That's a small city.
700,000. Like I said, I pray that this number wrong. I'm doing more research into it, but that's the numbers I found.
Wrongfully arrested.
I mean that
That
if you
is
think
insane.
of it, that is a small city. Like, and when I say small, I mean you take into account what we got 3.5 million people here in Chicago. New York has over 10. So
Right.
you got basically a small town, and you're like you got that ain't even a small town. That's a big town in Mississippi, Alabama. somewhere, So I mean you basically arrested everybody in a town
Pretty much.
falsely.
Pretty much.
Falsely. I mean, we're not talking about legitimate arrests. We're talking about false.
Look at the Super Bowl in 2 weeks, and look how many people there, and that's about how many people No, hell, that's not even close. That's
No. Because you ain't gonna get that many people at the Super Bowl now as far as watching it. But,
Right.
Yeah.
that's about
So-
10% of the people watching it.
True.
Maybe 5. But I mean, you know,
But that's, I mean, regardless, the number is
it's ridiculous. Is what it is.
Exactly. And if a person wrongfully accuse another person of some type of domestic violence or domestic abuse, in my opinion, whatever time that the person's looking at, if you're looking at 4 years, you should have to do 4 years.
I mean,
Point blank.
I don't have a problem with that because when you're looking at domestic violence and abuse, rape also is a part of that. And how many people have been falsely accused of rape?
And I wonder if rape is added into that.
And you know, and because
I wonder.
but because the reality of it is that you have a lot of women, and some. I mean, you know what? And you can't even really just say women anymore because with the times changing the way they are, the pulse of society being what it is, with the same sex marriages or what have you. Okay, so it's not just women; it's men now too.
Right.
So you have people who will push your buttons and dare you to move. You know what I'm saying? Like I got 911 dialed. If you say something wrong, my finger gonna slip on this last one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And how many times have you seen somebody locked up because their girlfriend saw a text that he sent to another female, and now she just want him to hurt. She want to get back at him. Well, getting him arrested for domestic violence is not the way to go. And if it's found out that she's lying, then yeah, whatever he had to serve, she should be serving.
Or whatever he was facing, she
Right.
should have to serve. So if
You
you're
know?
looking at
Well, I mean, but how many guys go to the penal system, to jail, and they sit there for months, years before they get their day in court, and they say, "Oh man, you know what? Man, we messed up. Our fault. My bad." Okay, well, if he was in jail for a year and a half, and it's found out that you were lying, then guess what? We finna take that year and a half. Now, in a perfect world, this shit would work, but we all know that it's probably that other than that. But in a perfect world, be like, you know what? We sorry for your loss, and you know, cut him a little check, whatever it is. But that'd be too much like right. But then we're gonna take this young lady or this man, whatever the case may be, and say, you know what? That 18 months that he was just there, we're gonna need you to chill with us for a while.
yeah, like I don't know if y'all know about Brian Banks.
No, not familiar.
Football player, college, one of the top recruits. I mean, damn near guaranteed to go pro. Young lady said Brian Banks raped her. She sued the college, got paid. Found out, I think he did 6 years in jail.
Something like that.
That's crazy.
Found out she was lying. She didn't have to pay him any money. She didn't have to pay the college back. All she said was, "I'm sorry."
So she didn't pay him
I'm
back.
sorry.
I thought she was like on a payment plan to get him.
No, she was on a payment plan for
to get them their money back or something like that.
I'm gonna try to find that out
okay.
before the show. But he didn't have to get he don't get nothing. Now he's trying to resurrect whatever little bit of career he has left. He's in the league now, but I mean he's making peanuts compared to what.
Let's be clear.
This got so bad. Al Sharpton had to pay. Cause Al Sharp, it was a defamation of character suit that she had to pay. Al Sharpton had to pay.
Because she accused him of defamation of character for sticking up for this guy or something?
No, Al Sharpton was sticking up for her.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you know he a simp.
That's another show.
Anyone who wants to know what a simp is, you have to hit us up on Twitter or on the Facebook page. Not here.
Simp is someone idolizing mediocre, and you can guess what the P mean.
No, let me stop.
Oh boy,
But
Jesus.
I told you, I'm trying to thread. I can't thread lightly.
So I have a question for you guys.
We have an answer for you.
For the fellas. So when people think of domestic violence, domestic abuse, like you said, Cross, the very first thing that we think of is a man beating on a woman, a man abusing a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that, do you think that men that are in abusive relationships do not come forward as much, or it's not that much attention towards it in the media or just in general when it comes to men.
That's actually a very good question. And before we answer, we're going to go pay some bills and we're going to get right back at you.
Ooh, thank you.
That'll
Give us the truth. That's what we need.
Truth and Logic.
Truth.
Back to your hosts, David Cross and Deron Montgomery.
at you, and we're coming back at you, family. It was once said by Gil Scott Heron that the revolution would not be televised, but you know what? It's damn sure gonna be talked about. The question is, what do you have to say about it? Join the revolution. It's very real, family. We can be reached at 888-GO-FOR-IT. That's 888-463-6748. Now, before we went to break, the lovely lady Michelle posed a question, basically asking why is it that men involved in domestic disputes, or who are the victims of domestic violence, don't report it as often? Is that what you were asking, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's just say this. Okay, first of all, last year there were 3 million complaints filed by men. 3 million.
3
now,
million.
Now that number may go up as year by year. Hopefully not. But when you looking at, again, you look at the pulse of society with same-sex marriages, relationships, unions, whatever. Domestic violence is a reality when you're dealing with that, because it doesn't decrease just simply because a man is with a man, woman is with a woman. So there were 3 million documented complaints. Again, that's the city of Chicago, full of men that complained about domestic violence. Now, I'm pretty sure that there were probably more nationwide,
Right.
but you say, why don't, okay, think about being a man, first of all. I'm gonna handle this. I'm about to break it down for you. You ain't got to think too hard.
I'm like,
no,
okay.
But you got to think about it from a man's point of view. It's like, number one, ain't a lot of men that want to admit that a man whooped them. So then I'm gonna tell them that my wife, my woman whooped me.
Okay.
That's so when the police come, oh, I tripped, I fell, or no, I'm good. This old, but that's fresh blood. Now this old though. It's all kind of excuses that are going to be aligned with that. Now,
Right.
first of all, when you look at it, you look at domestic violence and you say, well, what is domestic violence? All right, this is the edutainment part of the show, people. So get your pens, pass out. Listen fast so we don't have to slow down for you to catch up. All right. Mm-hmm. So you say, well, what is domestic violence? And it is violent or aggressive behavior within the home, typically involving the abuse of a spouse or a partner. It doesn't get gender specific and say women. Okay. However, it can be, and does include men and children. And that's something that often gets left out when you think about domestic abuse or violence. Everyone always gravitates toward the woman, and they forget about the willful. Okay. Because what is domestic violence though? It is not always, I put my hands on you.
It'd be verbal
Okay.
abuse.
Because you have willful intimidation. You have physical assault or battery. And the reason why they have to specify physical assault, because an assault can be verbal, which filters into that whole I'm mentally abusing you thing. You have the battery, you have the sexual assault. And a lot of people say, well, if we married, how can I sexually assault you? Well, it's very simple. Anytime and regardless to whether she's your wife, if she mad, and you trying to lay down and do that horizontal tango, and she say, don't touch me, and you do anyway, I've known women who've called the police on their husband. So it's very real.
Or cut their penis off.
Yeah, that was like 1992, but whatever.
Lorena Bobbitt.
Yeah. Okay, and it includes all kind of abusive behavior as a part of a systematic pattern of power and control. Because what is sex? Abuse of any kind, domestic, sexually, whatever, it don't have nothing to do with sex. It doesn't have anything to do with power and control. I want to manipulate you to be who I want you to be, to do what I want you to do. And also it's a matter of, if I tear you down, you'll always depend on me.
Yeah.
You'll always depend on me. So you'll look to me for your validation versus outside, and which is why I don't personally, I don't understand it. I understand what it says, but I don't understand it, because my thing is, we as individuals, human beings, we're not we're not robots, we're not computers. So we have what God gave us called free will. If you're with me, I want you to be with me because you choose to be, not because I beat you down emotionally, physically so bad to where now you feel like you can't do anything else or be anywhere else.
Right.
But a lot of people feed off of that kind of stuff.
Right.
You know, so I mean, so when you're talking about abuse, we lose track of the mental part of it as well. There's a mental aspect, because before someone puts their hands on you, if you really think about it, they've already beat you down mentally. Because guess what? Before they put their hands on you, mentally, you have to be in a place to where you will stay. People say, well, why do you stay? Why do they stay? Male or female, why do they stay? Because mentally they're in a place where they can't leave.
Right.
And I ain't no therapist or nothing,
So
but
do you
I pay
think
attention to
with
stuff.
what you just said, it starts with not only in an abusive situation is it physical, it starts with mental.
It definitely starts with mental. I'm gonna give you
verbal abuse.
Exactly, and I'm gonna give you a quick example. And sometimes we'll do it and not even know that we're doing it. When I was younger, and had been married maybe about 5 years, right? And I joke around and I play a lot. And I grew up playing the dozens. You know, you grew up in the hood, you play the dozens a lot.
For the people that don't know, the dozens mean talking about your mama.
And talking about your mama, talking about you. I mean, I've picked out every flaw in your character. Ooh. But here's the thing. I won't ever say anything about it until you make me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I used to play around with my wife like that.
Don't get in trouble.
Look, there's nothing I'll say here that she ain't heard before. So I used to play around my wife like that a lot, and she hit me up with the whole she didn't like it, and I'm like, quit being so sensitive, blah blah blah. It took somebody to tell me that you're destroying her self-esteem.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then when I looked at it from that angle, I had to back up from that, because it was like, I don't want nobody being with me that, you know, first of all, if you with me, you supposed to build me up, and you can't build me up if you torn down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And I don't think a lot of people understand that. I think a lot of people think that I'm going to force this person to be with me regardless to what happened.
Right.
And they think, okay, just because this person agree with me that they building me up.
I mean, they get that mentality that we together until I say we ain't together.
Right.
That we say that in jest and it's funny, but it ain't funny. And we have a call on the line, and guess what?
Our number one fan.
Pastor Quinn, the super fan. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
All right. You don't sound like you in the library today. You're not being gangster today.
I'm not in the library today. I'm sitting outside. I just got out of class. But I just tuned in, and you're talking about the different stages of abuse.
Right.
And mental and emotional are big forms of domestic violence.
Right.
Because, like you were saying earlier, you know, some people are intimidated to stay in a relationship because their self-esteem is so low that they and because the perpetrator always tells them, don't nobody else want you, you know, I'm the only one that's gonna want you, and so they begin to believe that, and unfortunately, I had an uncle who had a wife that felt like if he didn't beat her, he didn't love her.
I've heard women say that,
and I was like, wow, I just remember my mother telling her she was a blankety blank fool. Because what was she gonna do? Stay around till he killed her?
Right.
You know. Unfortunately, I guess she got the revelation, and she did leave him, and started her life, and found out that she was worth more than he gave her belief that she was. And that's what happens to a lot of young ladies today, and that's really sad, and it's unfortunate that their self-esteem is so in the toilet that they don't feel like that they're worth anything, and that they have to depend on somebody else to tell them their worth.
Right. There's no self-love.
You know, it's not. And I you know, and I thank God that I was never, that I wasn't raised that way, and I never thought that way of myself. I didn't need anybody to validate me. Number one, I was validated when God brought me into this earth realm, and so I don't need a man, woman, or thing to validate who I am or what I am. But unfortunately, we don't have the wherewithal to raise our young people, whether it be male or female, because there are males out there that are abused. They won't step up to the plate and say that because, y'all talked about the emasculation of, and because they feel like it makes them less of a man.
Well,
But
I'm glad you said the word validate, because I've been telling a few people for 3 weeks now, Deron, that unfortunately with our culture, we don't feel validated unless white folks validate us, and I've been saying that for a while.
But you know what I mean.
Weird.
Like I stated, you have 7 million documented cases of men who said, "Yo, this person, man or woman, abused me." It is very true that in society that men are just as that their self-esteem has taken a hit just like women, and which is the reason why they perpetuate the abuse on you, because they want you to feel like them or less.
Right.
Okay. So I mean that's very real. But a lot of people use the excuse of where they were from. Well, the community this, the community that, whatever. And I'm saying that, not making reference to one I call her, because she calls the hood the community. But I'm saying people make reference to, where they from as the reason why their self-esteem is where. Let me be real clear. I was born in Cabrini Green. I was raised on 47th and King Drive. Right. So where you're raised, your family unit has a lot to do with how you view yourself, right, and where you and here's the bottom line: the family unit as a whole has taken a hit from the parents on down. And I say parents because you may have a father, you may know who your father is, you may not. Some of y'all may know who your mom is and may not, because how many people are raised by their grandmothers or their aunts, and because you have a lot of different variables that cause the family unit to be destroyed. You have the father not being there, whatever reason for being. Your mother may not be there because she's hooked on drugs. So maybe the reality of it is, and they don't talk about this a lot because everybody wants to attach a stigma to it. Maybe you have situations where your parents just didn't want you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. There you go. But you know what? It's interesting because I am in one of my classes. We just talked about that yesterday. About where you come from, it does not mean anything. It's your mindset, because, like you said, we moved to Cabrini Green when I was 6 years old, and I didn't move out of there until I was in my mid-20s with my son. Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, that's where you grew up." Yeah, but well, you don't look like it. What am I supposed to look like? Because I grew up in Cabrini Green. That was my mindset. Wasn't because, number one, when we moved over there, it didn't have the reputation that it got after two policemen got killed on the baseball field. Then that's when the reputation came, and then they acted a complete fool after Martin Luther King got killed.
I know my mother said she was chased from Cabrini Greens when she was younger.
And see, but we stayed there. We stayed there until I was, like I said, and then I moved up north. But that's just like some people say, well, the little boy is gay because he was raised by a house full of women. Deron was raised in a household with women.
And I'm all man. Dig that.
He just had to get in there, Pastor Quinn. He had to make it known.
But that just goes to show, and just like one of the young men in my class was like, they moved to the suburbs. He and his friends were raised in the same environment, in the same neighborhood. He's doing fine, going to school, getting an education at 22 years old. His friend, unfortunately, is in jail doing 22 to 25 years. Wow. Deron works at a jail, And some of his former classmates have come through.
There you
and
go.
we moved to the south suburbs because I didn't want him raised on 48th and King Drive any longer because of the gang stuff that's going on. I moved to make it better for him. But it didn't matter whether I kept him there or whether I moved him out. How he was raised is the impact, because one of the subjects in our book said he was raised by mother, but his mother was tired of life. So that let me know at 7 years old, his mother checked out, whether mentally, physically, or whatever. But he was at 12 years old writing this letter from prison, in a Quebec prison. So what does that say?
Right.
Wow.
I mean, you know what? The reality of it is that, and here's another example. You have a lot of guys that grew up and had opportunities, and they still choose to do whatever they do.
Right.
Because how many guys from the suburbs end up in jail?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, they had the same opportunities that you had.
Right.
So I mean that it's got to be. It's a mental thing. It's a mental thing, and it starts with the family unit, which has broken down. And your family unit, how successful your family unit is, has nothing to do with where you're at geographically.
Well, you know, a lot of people fail to realize mostly every topic we've talked about, everything starts at home. You know, if you don't have a man to teach you how to be a man, you wouldn't know how to treat a woman. If you don't have a woman to teach you how to be a woman, or it ain't necessarily just a man, just how to treat each other with respect.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I think that's the if you want to look at the root of the problem is people don't respect each other, and that's why we have a lot of domestic abuse and violence in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because we lose that respect factor.
Right. Well, you know what I think, and I was talking to Miss Curiosity, and I was talking to her. Right. Maybe we'll talk her up or something. But I was talking to her, and for those of you all who listen, a lot of our callers, we know them outside of here. So I was talking to her, and I was telling her, I was like, something that she said one time, it irritated me, and it didn't irritate me the fact that she said it. It irritated me that it was actually true. Because there are a lot of things that we allow to go by the wayside, that we allow to happen, because we say that it's just the way it is. It's the way it is in the hood. That's just what happens.
Right.
And we've allowed that to become so much a way of life that we've looked at it almost as part of our culture.
Right.
Well, we need people like myself, like you, whatever. We need people to make your life uncomfortable.
Right.
Because when you become comfortable in the muck, the mire, and in the BS, then there's something wrong.
Right.
There's definitely something wrong. That because, you know, when you sit back and you say, man, well, it's just the way it is, and no, we not gonna do that one. We not gonna do that one. And you know what? We getting ready to go somewhere, Mama. I don't know if you want to hold on for this, but we about to take this ride to this corner that we go to once a week. I don't know if you want to stay on the line and listen, but if they want truth and logic, then we finna give them truth and logic, baby.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. You know what? I didn't know if I was going to bring out Mr. Controversy this week, because this is like, you know, this is a very touchy subject. Mm-hmm. But then we had people that want to talk. Maybe they just knew that we got to say something to bring this controversial out. Now, I don't believe in a man hitting a woman. I don't believe in a woman hitting a man. But just like we said about Ray Rice and his elevator cleaning services, you know, hey, she hit him. She wanted equal rights, so he just gave her equal lefts. That's how this thing gonna go. I mean, yeah, you got to make you feel uncomfortable. People say, hey, I think Cross doing too much. Well, it ain't Cross that's doing it. This controversy that's doing it, baby. You know, you want to be upset at the things I say. Hey, you listening? And man, I'm telling you, people, All I'm saying is family structure needs to be there. We need this family structure. Don't get mad at what I say, because a lot of people that get mad at what I say, you either mad for one or two reasons. Either I'm talking about you, or I'm talking about you. Them the only two reasons you mad. Because I mean, hey, if it don't fly, let it ride. If it's not about you, you don't, then don't put yourself in that situation. See, the problem with our community is we sit up here and we cater to everybody, our own people, every day in, day out, for years, for centuries. We've catered to our own people, and all we did was gotten worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. We spiraling down. So maybe somebody need to come out and tell you the way it really is, so you can really look at this nonsense and this madness that's going on. And I mean, let's try to fix our community. I can't sit up here and keep saying, you know what, Deron, you're a good person, but every day you out there gang banging. You know what, I'm gonna say, Deron, you're an idiot. Get your shit together.
Right.
You know, and then maybe you'll just get your shit together.
Or maybe not, but then I can't say I haven't heard it.
Exactly. And that's the problem. We want to cater to our own kind. You know, oh, well, you know, black people did it, you know. 18-year-old girl gets shot. Well, she 18-year-old girl living with her boyfriend, and she's dead now.
Right.
First off, you're still in high school. Why ain't you living with your parents? That's letting me believe that some type of family structure was broken down in her household. Now she's dead. Now everybody won't answer. Well, let's bring it to where it all began. What happened to your family household?
Dig that.
Why is a high school kid living away from their parents? Why is a high school kid living with a boyfriend?
Dig that.
She ain't lived life yet.
Right.
But now you mad at the boyfriend. First people you should be mad at is your damn self. That's who you should be mad at. Damn the boyfriend.
But then that mean they got to take responsibility.
Right.
Boom.
What's responsibility? You know, they got to be accountable for something. Because you know, a lot of people think accountability is the ability to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's what they think accountability is. So this is Mr. Controversy Corner. So let's get back to the lovely Pastor Quinn.
Damn, that shit was dope. All right, Mama, before we let you go, you got anything else you want to talk about?
I agree with everything that David just said. You know, my thing is I raised my sons not to hit a woman, but my thing is this. If a woman walk up to you for no reason and just let you have it, whatever she gets, she got coming.
Exactly.
Okay, all right.
I mean, you know, I'm now a real. I mean, sometimes a man will be a man and walk away, but if he happens to just that instinct, that automatic instinct, just comes out and you're gonna defend yourself. Hey, you can't get mad about it.
Exactly.
And like you said, some of these people. How about she not just living with her boyfriend? How about her boyfriend is living with her at her parents' house?
Oh wow!
I
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
I didn't. I've heard that. I know that. I've experienced that, and it's like, well, you know, in my house, you can't even try. Don't even bring it to me.
Right.
Ask the one sitting next to you. Not even a visit.
Why you keep
I'm
talking
sorry.
so
It
much?
ain't happening. You're not married. You can't do it here. There's a hotel down the street. You're more than welcome to get a room there. But, you know, I do know. I have people that I know that let their daughter's boyfriend live in the house with them, and I'm like, are you serious? But then when something happens, you can't get mad at him because he taking up residence there because you allowed it.
Right.
So that's my take on today. I love you guys, and I will
love you
be
back.
back on next week.
All right.
Have a blessed evening.
All right, love you.
Bye-bye.
Look forward to hearing from you.
Proud to be an American.
And
Thank you,
next up,
Pastor Queen.
next up, we have the lost Miss Curiosity. It's good to hear from you again, baby. It's been a few weeks.
Hello.
Hey, how are you guys?
How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm good. I was just calling basically to get another view on
Come on with it.
violence, and that's how to help people that are in the situation that they feel like they probably can't get out of.
Okay.
Wait a minute. You're not calling to disagree with Cross? Let me write this down.
No, I'm calling.
I'm just playing, so don't be mad at me. I'm just playing. I do crack jokes sometimes too.
No, I'm calling because you could have people that are listening that are in situations that
Right.
they don't want people to know that they're in. And a lot of times when you have women, I'm not sure about men, but when you have women, they don't know where to turn to for help.
That is
Because
true.
if you think about, there are a lot of shelters in the city of Chicago and surrounding suburbs that are specifically for women and children who are involved in domestic situations, but they're not advertised. There's not a sign outside the front of it that says this is where you can come. And the reason why is because of security issues with those the people that are committing the crime, coming to look for them once they do find the courage to leave those situations. So my reason for calling is if there is anybody in those situations where you are being abused, verbally, mentally, whatever the case may be, and you need some help, you can go to your local police department. And your local police department does have the information where you can go. They have social workers where you can go to get some help. And where you can't find it, just advertise anywhere, and they can help you with that. So
Also,
that was my
also
reason for
people could go to
calling.
their local churches, with churches, fire departments.
Right.
Anywhere, pretty much what she's saying, and this is a rarity that me and Miss Curiosity actually agreeing on something. But you can go to any pretty much public place to try to get out of an abusive relationship,
Right.
to try to seek help. And if anybody is in that situation, man or woman, I plead, I beg to you, seek help, find help
Right.
before it's too late.
Right.
That's a true
And also,
statement.
if you all, like, when you choose to donate things from your household, such as clothing and things like that, I know a lot of people donate to the Salvation Army or to Goodwill. You can also, via your church or things like that, make donations to these organizations, because when you have a mother that has 3 children trying to get the courage to get out, she can't take the house with her.
Right.
She has to take her
Right.
children or take herself and leave. And a lot of people leave things behind that we take for granted. So if you all have children's items and things like that, there are people who can get those items to those victims to help them out, to give them a fresh start. Because like I said, if you're in a situation where you're fighting for your life, you're not packing a suitcase.
Right.
Right.
That's a
So
true
if
statement.
you all think about donating to some of these shelters that are housing people who are victims of it, because it's hard to get back to where you were when you start from nothing.
Right.
So that's
Right.
the reason for me to call, just to help people who are in those situations and let them know that there is help for them out here.
That's a very good call, Miss Curiosity. How you been?
I've been well.
That's good. That's good. You know we missed you, right?
I know, but I
No.
gotta go make the donuts.
Hey, ain't nothing
So-
wrong. Ain't nothing wrong. Make them donuts, but every now and then drop a donut off over here. Okay. All right.
We miss you, Miss
We
Curiosity.
appreciate it.
All right.
Okay, you all have a good day.
Thank you. Same to you. Thanks for your call, man.
Bye.
And with that, we're going to go pay a couple bills before we get out of here. This is the last commercial break, family. Just truth and logic, y'all.
Now, back to David and Duran
I'm talking truth.
for more Truth and Logic.
What's up, family? We're coming right back at you. This is Truth and Logic. We can be reached at 888-GO FOR IT. That's 888-463-6748. Let us know what's on your mind. We got a few minutes before we get out of here. David, you have something that you want to get off your chest?
Well, I agree with everything that Miss Curiosity said, as far as getting help. Now, me personally, I give every female one shot. You need help to get out of an abusive relationship, I will come help you. If you go back, I can't help you anymore. Don't call me anymore.
You can't help those that don't want to be helped.
That's a true
Exactly.
statement.
And the reason I say that is because I was trying to find these stats, and they can't be found. I don't know if they can be found or not, but I can't find them. How many people lose their life or end up in jail trying to help somebody else that really don't want to be helped?
Good question.
That's an interesting stat.
And I don't mind helping somebody that want to get out of a sticky situation, but if you go back, I can't help you. I had a cousin that, I mean, used to get her ass whooped on a damn near daily basis, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Wow.
And I helped her. And she went back, and I just refused to go back. I mean, the man bigger than Deron. Man looked like he bench pressed Vovos for a living.
Wow.
So
He's a punk.
Pretty much. I mean,
Pretty much.
This guy hit her in the back with a Louisville Slugger, which made her lose her baby. You know, so, but she kept going back to him.
See that's the mental abuse. That's the mental conditioning that I talked about earlier. In order for you to continue to go back to a situation like that, in order for her to keep going back and doing that, before he ever put his hands on her, he had already beat her down mentally.
Right.
I would like to say something.
Please do.
The thought just came to mind. I want to speak to the younger women of the generation today. I see a lot of videos nowadays coming across the media, Facebook, what have you, of, I don't know if they're in relationships with these people or just people they know or don't know, whatever the case. Nowadays, it seems like women think that they are like untouchable. And it kind of runs into the effemination of the male nowadays, because these boys out here have no restraint.
Right.
Okay. Not all, some, but these women, I've seen videos where women's like, you ain't gonna touch me, you ain't gonna do nothing, blah 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 blah. Perfect example. It was the video in New York City subway where the girls talk to the dude, they dissing each other, I guess the dozens as you call them.
Right.
And she decides she wants to put her hands on this dude.
Is that the guy with the number 8?
Yes. You
actually, he wasn't even responding to her.
Right. You a cornball, you got on an 8-ball jacket, dusty 10, but who cares? You decided to put your hands on this man. He decided to react and slap you across your face.
She found out what the 5 fingers said to the face.
These women need to stop being so bold and stop being so outlandish and so crazy. Also, these little boys out here need to stop also taking it upon themselves to put their hands on a female.
Right.
So for me, it goes both ways. I just watched a video. It was a guy and a girl on a train. I don't know where this was. She's talking all types of crazy to this other man on the train. Don't even know what the argument was about. She's going in on him, putting her hands in his face, shoving him, and the man is getting to a point where he is just frustrated. He looked like he works in construction, has, his work outfit on. She's with her boyfriend now. He a little man. He kind of scrawny. You know what I'm talking about?
I think I seen this one too.
And she's just going in, and he's telling her to stop, but he's not really, either leaving the situation or trying to control the situation. This is your woman, okay? It gets to the point where this girl is so bold. She puts her hands on this dude, and then the dude don't hit her. The dude goes after the boyfriend because he feels like, I'm not going to put my hands on no female because people is recording, number one, because that's all people do nowadays. Right. You're not helping. You just want to put, controversy and bull out there.
World star.
And that's all you good for is trying to be on TMZ.
Right.
And so this dude took it upon himself to say, hey, you're not going to control your girl. I kind of don't want to use that term, controlling somebody. Right. But you don't want to take initiative to get her out of my face. I'm going to get you out of my face. You going to learn this lesson.
That's an interesting response
but you know what?
Right there.
You know what? I mean, social media has really got people acting just mentally retarded.
Oh,
and
it irritates my soul.
I had a conversation with a young lady, and this might just irritate a lot of people. But in American society, women are treated like they're the retarded children out here. Please let me explain before y'all start getting upset.
We the retarded? Well, I'm not going to say we because I don't feel like I'm a part of that.
You're
situation,
definitely not.
No. I mean, women as a whole, and let me explain. Because, okay, think about the kid in school that's throwing tapioca against the wall, kicking chairs and stuff, and he don't get in trouble. And you like, well, pretty much. You like, well, damn, if I do that, I get in trouble. And they say, baby, don't worry. He don't know any better. Well, that's how we treating that's how society treats women. If a woman goes out and just start beating the hell out of a man, and the man like, well, damn, if I hit her,
Right.
I'm gonna get in trouble. And society pretty much said, don't worry, baby. She don't know any better. You know, she's mentally retarded.
And that's
You know.
messed up. I watched
and-
the video today. It was an experiment. I don't mean to cut you off, David. It was an experiment. They were acting. The guy was acting as if he was physically, beating on this woman. Within 3 to 5 seconds, people were defending her. And they switched it around. She was beating on him. People were laughing, pointing, doing a video.
Same
She
thing.
was,
Same
smacking
thing.
him
People
around.
do to the mentally retarded. When people
Right.
see, but it's sad, and this is why I really hate feminists, because see, feminists don't want equal rights for women. They want superiority over women, because in cases like this, because it makes women look bad overall. And I'm not saying all women. Hear me out when I say this. It's not all women, but feminists would take up if Deron hits you. But feminists would say, well, don't worry, baby. If you hit him, you don't know any better. You one of us. We don't know any better.
You old enough to put your hands
Right.
on
We got
me.
the little small hat.
See, I look. I'm not an advocate for beating on women or anything like that. I ask people, period, male and female, don't put your hands on me, cause
Right.
they're like my mind. So I can walk away, but depending on where my mind is, that I'm very quick. I have very quick reflexes.
Well, everybody
You
has
might-
a breaking point.
No, it ain't even the breaking point. I'm talking about I have reflexes.
No,
You know,
what I'm saying is,
I'm
like
a-
you said, you could walk away.
I'm a trained fighter, so I have reflexes. What I'm saying is, depending on where my mind is,
that's from
that
Cabrini
day,
Greens.
I would, no, when I say trained fighter, I mean martial arts. But I have quick reflexes. You hit me and just I'm not thinking. You may catch one.
Right.
You may catch one.
And you know what? I was in a situation with my ex-wife, and women know how to push them buttons to really make you upset. And she almost did the Al Green. She threw a bowl of grits at me. Luckily, it didn't hit me. Wow. And
Ooh.
yeah, I know. Wow. Then she smacked me in the face, and I jumped up, bitch. And it took everything in me to not give her equal lefts. And I walked out the house. But as I was trying to walk out the house, she's following me, steady egging on the situation.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because she knew that she was a retarded child. And that,
Really?
that, wasn't nobody doing anything to her.
Right.
But if I was
Some
to hit
girls
her.
feel like they're, and I'm going to say girls, not women, feel untouchable.
Right.
And that's why it's so, today is just, can you tell it's irking my nerves.
Well,
If
we
you
didn't
grown
reach-
enough to put your hands on somebody, do not expect it to be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna
Right.
be cool. I'm gonna just
Right.
keep on going.
Right.
No,
You got women out here, they feel like they only self-worth is to shake their behind and their sexuality. They're not worth anything else, Now some of them, they're not even trying to add the fight onto it. They I ain't gonna call them girls, I ain't gonna call them women, I'm calling them machines because that's the way they act.
Machines.
And, I mean, really, have you just seen women,
machines are taking
have you
over.
seen women fight? And they got this, you ever seen the Terminator?
It almost
Yeah.
sounds like we need a second hour on this show, or to
It feels
continue,
like it.
or to continue it for next week.
But-
So what are we doing on this wrap up?
Well, real quick, this is how a lot of women feel when they sitting up there fighting, just like the Terminator,
And understand that Terminator is out there. It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear. And it absolutely will not stop. Ever. Until you are dead.
Look at women fight. Next time you see a woman fight, they trying to kill you.
Oh,
At least a
God.
man would knock you out and you good. Some of these women, they machines. They like the Terminator.
this is true.
And with that, we're on a 6-day, 23-hour break, family. And as always, live life as you're going to die tomorrow, but take the time to learn as if you're going to live forever. Develop an opinion, think about it. And remember, everything that's black and white is not always black and white. Until next week, I'm Deron.
This David.
This is Michelle.
Your truth
It's
versus
Truth
my
and
logic.
y'all. We
Real
outta
quick,
here.
next week is the stereotypes of black women. Tune in.
Tune in.